Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how a nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how a nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They font that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, someone be too who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. This an empire, fucking boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, gotta stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped, sitting high up on the stone. Put my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah.
You already know this is about to be stupid. Ay,
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa, this a new range, new page. Got me in a new country, new stage. I ain't signed no deal, I'm too paid. I do not have chill, I'm too crazy. I do not take L's, I'm too Brady. I might be frosted, I'm not flaky. Don't know what it cost me, it's all gravy. Turn on that faucet and just pay me. Whoa, we gon' get it, bring it back. Maybe Donald is a Mac. Couple bottles, empty glass. New machine, I'm sending facts. Bump the headline, check the facts. I'm not a gangster, but I'm a gorilla. Hop on the drums when I'm feeling J Dilla. Come get your lady, cause I'm a just stiller.
How about the range? Whoa. Ay, yeah, I'm feeling strange. Whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your face me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. There's no comparison, black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send him my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Dropped an investment in Silicon Valley. All of this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they break in the chassis. King of the grass like a Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors I labels as testing.
How about the range? Whoa. Ay, yeah, I'm feeling strange, whoa.
How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me. I took a sip, I'm not acting my age. I took a trip, now they got me on stage. How about the range? How about the range? Whoa. How about the range? I'm feeling strange. I might be crazy. None of your phase me.
How about the range, whoa. Yeah, I'm feeling strange, whoa.
Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the throne. With my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the throne. With my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They flaunt that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the throne. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, someone be too who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. This an empire, fuck a boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, I stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, hey, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the throne. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the throne. But my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah. It's been a while since I dropped this shit. Swole fam, y'all better run this up. KD, let's go. Yeah. Aye, East Coast with that gang, West Coast with that gang, Global with that gang, You know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang, West Coast with that gang, Global with that gang, You know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang, West Coast with that gang, Global with that gang, You know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang, West Coast with that gang, Global with that gang, You know we don't play gang. I'm blessed, I never said I didn't struggle. I finesse, I never said I didn't hustle. These niggas talk so loud, the way I move is subtle. I'm the ocean, but these niggas just a puddle. Ay, oh, I swear I'm delusional. These niggas they using me. They want my energy. Ain't nothing new. This is usual. These figures confusing me. What's gotten into me? They say I'm using their cubicles. Clipping KD like some cuticles. None of this shit is excusable. Don't need a muse when I'm musical. Ay, whoa, I'm tired of saying for truth when nobody's doing it. Yeah. They're controlling the youth. Agenda of fusing them. Nigga, we losing them. Matter of fact, we just abusing them. That's a fact. We try to roll with a ballad act. Fucking low key with a Tesseract. They throwing smoke when they got it. Get the fuck up out your little bubble. They wanna ask how much it costs, I said it double. Gorilla beer, these niggas only rockin' stubble. The realest nigga make these bitches start to stumble. Aye, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang. You know we don't play guys, yeah.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swole North.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing. Testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 3238 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustles, and yo hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. And today's episode, the Beastcast, is brought to you as powered and sponsored by Everest and K2. Flexing on all you beasts. Okay, fam, hashtag Swole and Juicy. Drop it in the comments down below. Thanks for being here. We're about to jump into some Swole fam posts. Hit the like button, thumbs up. We're live on Rumble and YouTube at the Daily Swole. Subscribe over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review if you enjoy the show. Hashtag Swole and Juicy in the comments. It's nice to be swole. It's extra nice to be juicy. It's triple nice to be swole and juicy. Drop that hashtag in the comments. We'll give away that swole card at the end of today's episode. Now let's get on into that tip. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, Swole fam posts, accountability time from yesterday. We got new releases. We'll talk about those in a second. But I asked yesterday, what's your current training split and what adjustments have you made recently with your training? Alex says, since I'm on the 90-day dash, I've been able to follow the programming with little issue. Last week and this week, I'm doing push, pull, and total with Swolga and mobility on my days I'm not lifting. The first 3 weeks of the 90-day dash were total body 3 times a week with Swolga and mobility, so I've only been making slight adjustments according to the program, and after this week, I'll be doing legs, push, and pull until the program ends in 2 months, almost to the date. I'll figure out my summer program from there as I see fit. The real adjustment I've made over the last month was adhering to the program and not just lifting every day or only on the rare occasion I felt like it. With the 90-day dashes flexibility, I felt free to put off a workout if I'm wiped that day, push a lighter session like mobility, and just make it up the next day. Cerny says, upper lower. I'm still getting used to the Smith bar and the pulleys, and I'm slowly adding more weight each workout until I feel comfortable with my form. Once I get that down, which won't take long, it's balls to the wall. Get those balls out. Let those balls breathe. It's time to make some gains. Jeff says, I just recently switched to a full body split going between 2 workouts. This is a new strategy since I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 2 or 3 times a week, and recovery has been an issue. Absolutely. Martial arts is very taxing. You have to be very careful with your programming and program accordingly. Michael, last one, says, hey, Papa, I have not been training. Wait, what? Easy, fam. Just wait. I have not been training, but I have been super busy and eating great. I've gotten slimmer and stronger just from work, but I talked to my wife into lifting and we're moving forward. I will be back on my lifting programming this week and helping getting her started lightly. By the way, I know I've gotten stronger simply because of work and the physical stuff I've been doing. Regardless, I'm excited to lift and finally, for the first time ever, track my reps, weights, and results. Also teaching the wife how to even begin looking at that kind of stuff. I've had 4 people in 2 days tell me how different I look just from eating good food and work. Sorry, lots to write. Well, good stuff. I definitely recommend not stopping lifting and prioritizing that regardless of busyness at work. Train first, lift heavy. It's very important. Even if you're physically active, it does not replace heavy strength training. So make sure that you are doing that for your health and for your future. It's very, very important. So prioritize that and don't put that on the back burner, Michael. So good for you and your wife. That's good to hear. Let's get into some questions, fam. Drop in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swole. I still have a strike on TikTok, so maybe we'll load up Instagram. Why not? Let's do it. Let's load up an Instagram live. We'll take some questions. So let's do this. Ask Papa Swole. Ooh, Swole. All right, we'll do that. So drop your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swole. We'll take the first one from
What's in the box?
Billy Bear FM. Billy Bear says, my arms aren't keeping up growth, but train the same volume. What should I do? I have no idea what you're asking me. Your arms aren't keeping up growth, but train the same volume. You mean each arm or your arms overall? Prioritize that. You're probably not putting as much effort into your arm training as you think. A lot of times people train arms last and they're trying to prioritize them. People have this idea, this stupid idea that you save the best for last or something like that. I'm going to do everything else first and then I'm going to focus on my arms. So prioritize your arm training, progressive overload. It is what it is. Make sure you prioritize it. I guarantee you're not putting it first in your training based on your split and based on your program design. So prioritize your arm training if you are not seeing the results that you want. Whatever you train first in your workout will get the most stimulus. Rory Sheppers. Papa Swole, what does your breakfast be for going to the fucking gym? Well, I'll have a shake in the morning, electrolytes, creatine, all that stuff. I'll eat eggs earlier in the day. So eat some real food, steak and eggs, beef, eat some real food. What's my breakfast? Doesn't matter. Eat real food. Rashanito. Papa Swole, how do I start a calorie deficit? You eat less food.
Matt Damon.
Eating less than it takes for you to maintain your body mass. Make sure you lift heavy weights. Make sure you're progressively overloading. Adjust your calories accordingly, whether you want to gain mass or lose overall mass. Remember, you don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose fat. So you need to make sure you're building muscle. And you can build muscle when you're cutting. You could build muscle if you're providing the proper stimulus around maintenance. You do not have to be in a surplus to build muscle. What you do need to do is to be eating enough carbohydrates, eating enough protein, focusing on protein, proper training, proper fatigue management, and make sure that you're lifting heavy and you're gaining weight or adding weights, adding reps to your training. I don't see any comments on Instagram. Is Instagram glitched out? It says we're telling your followers that you started a live video. So I don't see any comments or any things popping up. Why do I have a stupid... Oh, Instagram's glitching out. All right, I'm going to close this and come back. That was fucking stupid. So drop your questions in the comments. We'll only stay here as long as we have questions. If not, we'll move on. I'm not going to belabor questions anymore. If you guys don't have them, I won't waste my time. Urban philosopher, urban philosopher, spelled retardedly. Papa, any thoughts on dirty bulk? Yeah, it's stupid. Don't do it.
Matt Damon.
It is dumb. Dirty bulking is dumb. That's just getting fat. Dirty bulking is getting fat. That's all it is. Dirty bulking is getting fat. You don't want to get fat. You want to build muscle. Sabsters, Papa Swole, what products do you use for your hair? We'll be discussing that in the near future. We have some things coming for that, so we will discuss it as they are available. John Schwartz, Papa Swolio, do you have to do leg day on a specific weekday? And if so, which? You must do legs on Tuesdays. Today's Tuesday. You must do legs on Tuesdays. If you don't do legs on Tuesday, you're not going to make gains. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Tuesday's leg day. Everyone also knows that Wednesday's leg day. They also know that leg day is Thursday. And if they know that leg day is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they also know that leg day is also on Friday. So no, you don't have to do leg days on a specific day of the week, but you should train legs 2 to 3 times a week, depending on your split. And by the way, I'm not seeing any comments on Instagram, so it seems like I'll let it run for a little bit, but it seems like we're going to cut it. Come follow on Rumble, The Daily Swole, and YouTube, The Daily Swole for the show. I'm not seeing any comments pop up, so it looks like we're going to do short questions today. Rumble, no one's asking questions. It is what it is, so we'll do a couple more. We'll move on. We could do a short show today. Kei Hachi, dating non-gym / non-sport person, worth it or not? Absolutely not worth it. If you are a gym goer, if you take care of your health and the other person doesn't, they need to get on board or it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out, nor should it. If you a non-gym person, you mean a fat person. You mean a fat, unhealthy person. So not a good move. Not a good long-term outlook unless they're willing to start training. So you're asking me this question, which already means that it's not worth it. You're just trying to come to the realization that it's not going to work out. So another person needs to be taking care of their health. You don't want to get into a long-term thing with someone who trashes their body. My opinion. King Jennifer 1206, what's a typical protein portion for you? As much as I want to eat until I get full. I don't measure my protein. I got 50 grams. That's good. Or I need to get 70 grams. I'll eat as much protein at a sitting as I feel like I want to. So stuff in your protein, eat more, stuff yourself full of protein. You need more than you think you do. And that's my protein portion. Oh, last question on Instagram. All right, no questions on Instagram coming through. Maybe Instagram's messed up, so we're going to kill the feed. That was a waste of time. That was a waste. So I guess Instagram's hacked or something today. Instagram's not doing good. All right, last chance for questions. J Coach Papasolio, my bodybuilding coach, tells me I need to fully restart due to health-related issues and go down to 1 to 2 days a week on light intensity and no cardio. Like, does that add up? I have no idea. Does it? You had health-related issues and to go down to 1 to 2 days a week on light intensity and no cardio. Like, does that add up? I have no idea. I don't really have any context. You can fill me in on some of the details. Health-related issues relating to my thyroid condition. I just got checked for breast cancer and I have a colonoscopy coming up. So prioritize whatever you need to prioritize. Sometimes lifting heavy weights has to take a back seat for other things. I don't really know the justification behind adjusting your intense training. Are you wiped out? Are you fatigued? Are you doing any kind of other tests? Are you taking any pills or medications? Are you getting injections or things that are fatiguing you? But if, your coach probably wants the best for you. So if you have other things going on, downshifting a little bit is not always a bad thing. So you need to prioritize whatever you need to prioritize. And sometimes when you're looking at your 7 pillars, sometimes, pillar number 4 might take over a little bit. Recovery or mobility or mindfulness, just being consistent. So whatever you have to do to be consistent, not always are you going to be focusing primarily. There are certain pillars that are going to come up in your life that need to be more of the front and center focus. So I can't really answer that for you, but we wish you the best and use your best judgment. Adria Lark, Papa Swolio, can carnivore lead to constipation? Do I need more fat? Well, are you eating carnivore? If you're eating carnivore, you're getting tons of protein and fat. If you're not eating a lot of fat, you're not really eating carnivore. Carnivore is definitely a lot of fat, whole eggs and stuff like that, and tallow and butter. So carnivore is not just lean meat. Carnivore usually does not lead to constipation, but I guess it can. Anytime you're changing dramatically whatever you're eating to something like that, you might have diarrhea for a little bit. That's normal. But I've never heard of issues. Actually, I haven't heard of issues with going to the bathroom if you're eating a lot of protein and fat. If you're not getting enough fat, probably that could most likely be an issue too. But I've never had any issues going to the bathroom, especially with eating meat and eggs and stuff like that. There's no such thing as keto. There's no such thing as a keto diet. Keto is just an aspect and a type of metabolism. So most people, when they say they eat keto, they're not really in ketosis. So ketosis is what these people are aiming for. And a lot of times protein or certain types of foods can impact blood sugar more than people realize. So a lot of times people think they're in ketosis and they're not at all because they don't do continuous glucose monitoring and things like that. Different foods will impact different people and their blood sugar levels. Just focus on meat, eggs, and fruit. That's really the most important things to focus on. An elimination diet can be done in partial standpoints. That way you can isolate and adjust as you go through. So yeah, and I personally don't recommend or take any fiber supplements or things like that. So meat and fruit is really good to go. Usually when people go carnivore, they have looser stools. A lot of times it's because you have your entire gut micro and macrobiome that shifts over, because all you really do is you're a hotel for bacteria, and the bacteria populate. The bacteria populate and to digest the foods and the foodstuffs that you supply it with. So when you change things out, they die off, they flush out, your body readjusts and readapts. So it takes time. It takes time. Plus, when you're doing things like carnivore, personally, I don't like carnivore completely. Not for long term, maybe for temporary, but a lot of people, it's very known and well known to have electrolyte imbalances. So make sure you're taking plenty of electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium. You have to get the pea strips. Yeah, I think those are also inaccurate to an extent. I've heard mixed things about pea strips and stuff, and it's really not important. It's really not the ideal thing. People shouldn't be obsessed with being in ketosis or this, that, and the other. It's really not ideal for performance in many cases. If you're just doing an elimination period of like a month or two, it's okay to do some of these things, but you need carbohydrates if you're lifting heavy weights. Dates are also very good. That'll clean you out. Any other questions? Last chance. Last chance. Slow day for questions, but good topic so far. A lot of people long-term have issues with electrolytes and things like that when they do carnivore. Just make sure you're getting in plenty of electrolytes. Remember, if you're not hungry for protein, you're not hungry. That's really my take on things. If you need carbohydrates or an apple or something for, sugar, you're just thirsty. You need electrolytes. And if you're hungry, you're going to want protein. You're going to want actual food. I don't take Shilajit or subscribe to any of those trendy supplements that are just really pushed by multi-level marketers and stuff on TikTok. That's another one of those things that's just, it comes and goes, this mushroom stuff, and everything has phases. When you look at social media, everything has phases where there's a product that comes out, it gets popular and people start posting about it. They get commission on products. So you start seeing these videos everywhere and then they disappear. So just make sure you're eating fundamentally proper food, proper lifestyle habits, and most of these things work themselves out. All right, last chance for questions. Going once, going twice. All right, we'll move on. Short show today, no worries.
That's deep.
It happens, comes and goes. So if you have more questions, if there's a couple that come through, you can drop in the comments. But we will move on. We shall move on. Not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. Just a chill day today, which is nice. Which is very nice. No complaints. No complaints. Jen says, LMFAO, I see my sister-in-law not working out and posting that she's taking Primal Queen. She's still fat. What is that? What's Primal Queen? God, there's always something new. Storm Machine, I was in ketosis on carnivore. I did feel pretty good for the first few weeks. Then it started affecting my workouts. I had more energy throughout the day, but my muscles didn't. Yeah, I didn't like that. I was doing that kind of stuff. I was doing mostly fat. I was doing keto. I've tried all these different things in the past, and it just doesn't work. If you want to build muscle, you need carbohydrates. And again, if you're trying to be leaner and get rid of inflammation, I'm not saying you need to pound tons of carbs. I'm not saying you should be focusing primarily on carbohydrates, but for those of you that are trying to improve your strength and build muscle over time, and your muscles need to be saturated with glycogen, you need to provide your body with these types of nutrients. You're not going to get absolutely fucking huge eating carnivore. It's just very, very hard. Not everyone can do it. You really don't see a lot of people that hold a lot of muscle mass that are just carnivore. I personally don't like it. I like it as a, hey, I'm morbidly obese, I need to lose a lot of weight. Cool. That should be something that you do as a part of elimination to clean out, to reset, to reduce your exposure to environmental toxins, to reduce inflammation, heal your gut. So I think there's a lot of great applications for it. But this is essentially what an elimination diet is. It's more of like an animal-based carnivore approach. And then you can add things and tweak and adjust and see what works best for you. You know, rebuilds your sensitivity to insulin and sugar. Joey Manny, Papa Swole, do electrolytes have to be taken with plain water? Can I mix it with protein in a creatine shake? You can mix it. You can have electrolytes in many different ways. I use salt all the time. I put tons of salt on all my food. Absolutely. Bone broth is fantastic. Baby Swolio. Baby Swolio. That's a great name. Baby Swolio. Do you have a go-to multivitamin? I do know. Oh, beef liver. Raw beef liver. Raw grass-fed and finished beef liver. That's the best multivitamin. That's the best multivitamin. I have no desire or feel no need or drive to consume an artificial synthetic multivitamin. There's a lot of different stuff out there. There's a lot of different things for multivitamins. I'm not saying all of them are garbage, but you get those like Centrum tablets, those A to Z hard, practically suppository tablets, and people shit those things out whole, you know? So remember, not all vitamin Bs are the same. Not all vitamin Cs are the same. There are many different compounds and different structures of these vitamins that can be created synthetically that may or may not be readily absorbed and may conflict with other elements in that tablet or multivitamin just because of the structure. Let's see. Jen says, I've been here 30 minutes and already seen 13 cars in the Jack in the Box drive-thru, 10 people in and out of the liquor store, and about 20 people come and go from the donut shop. Yeah. Everyone's fat and gross. So it just shows that there are so many more people that could benefit from the Daily Swole. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share the show. Elizabeth says, total carnivore has been much better for me than anything else. Fatty protein is fantastic, especially for women over 40, and especially for women under 40, and especially for men under 40, and especially for men over 40. Fatty protein. Eat your protein, get your fat, and then fill in the gaps with certain carbohydrates. That's what I always say. Make sure you get your beef, eggs, raw dairy, organ meats, and then add in your carbs afterwards. Get that foundation of protein and fat, and then play around with the carbs. Play around with different things. Do you like a little sweet potato here and there? Do you like a little white rice here and there? Do you like fruit? Do you like dates? Do you like raw honey? And then adjust from there. If you have your foundation of protein and fat, you can play around with the carbohydrates a little bit. Pretty simple stuff. Pretty simple stuff. Jen says, including one little obese kid. So sad. My boy is in here eating his strawberries and banana doing schoolwork. There you go. Yeah, eat a fucking steak. Eat some steak. All right, pick a number 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. We're moving on.
What's in the box?
Lavash, are the beef liver capsules a good replacement for a one-a-day men's? I mean, I would never take a one-a-day men's vitamin. I would say beef liver capsules are a good start, leading you into actual beef liver. So I personally don't take a vitamin. I don't take a full vitamin, but I do eat organ meats. Papa, have you ever considered making a Duolingo parody video? What? No. What would that be? Never even thought about it. Still haven't considered it, even after you mentioned it. Doesn't sound interesting. Well, like the app? Not at this time. Maybe I control that bird. All right, martial arts mama number 2. This is called Fat Filters.
What's in the
Just
box?
chilling here on a Tuesday. Very chill show today. Not a lot going on.
Look like if I was fat. Thank God I don't look like that now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine me looking like that? Oh my God. And this is what I'd look like if I was skinny. Oh, I wish I'd look like that. Everyone.
What is happening here? What I think is happening here. Fat filters. I think I saw something about this. There's some filters that make you look like what you would look like if you were fat. Is that what she's talking about? I saw something like that.
I know I'm not chill, but chill the fuck out. Why are you... Why? Just why? Just, you don't need to put these filters on and participate in this trend that is just another fat phobic, body shaming, making every person feel like shit about themselves. You don't need to do it. That's it. You are allowed to just feel apathetic about your body and just let it exist. Chill out.
Coming from someone who's never seen a pee-pee. All right. Well, every filter and everything on social media is designed to make people feel like they should be doing something else, right? You should be going on vacation. I should be driving around 10 Lambos. I should be, I don't know, benching 500 pounds. So comparison is the thief of joy. So people are always going to compare themselves to other things. And yeah, you shouldn't be fat. There's no reason to be fat in today's age. Yeah, there's a lot of poison and there's a lot of ways to be fat, but you have to do literally, it just takes minimal effort. Minimal effort. Takes minimal effort to not be fat. Minimal effort. Eating real food and exercising. You won't be fat. You won't be fat. Now, when I say real food, oh my God, I can't eat my garbage. I can't eat my chips. I can't eat my sodies. I can't go to Dairy Queen 5 nights a week. No, you can't. Then stay fat. All right. The same people that are complaining about being fat are the same people that refuse to change their habits. So no sympathy. Don't care anymore. Don't care. Everyone knows what to do. You're just not doing it for whatever reason. All right. Last one is, it says Whoopi. Is that Whoopi Goldberg? Yeah, we're not doing that until last because I can't stand her face. This is called Biggest Fear. Biggest Fear. Biggest Fear.
What's in the box?
Title, Biggest Fear.
It has been said before, but I will say it again. If your biggest fear is that a man will be dressing up as a woman to enter the women's restroom, you are not afraid of trans women. It's been said before, but I will say it again. If your biggest fear is that a man will be dressing up as a woman to enter the women's restroom, you are not afraid of trans women.
That's right. You're afraid of men entering a woman's restroom. If your biggest fear, I don't think that has to be, is that anyone's biggest fear? For a woman, that shouldn't even be an issue. Let me also clarify, if your biggest fear in this life is a man coming into the women's restroom, that's blown out of proportion. That should not be your biggest fear. Your biggest fear should be, I don't know, stuck in a swimming pool with an alligator, like that's really hungry. That would be a biggest fear. But that should definitely be a concern, but it shouldn't be something you have to be concerned about. That should never be an issue. But if you're a woman in a restroom and a man comes in, yeah, you should be afraid. You should be concerned. Why is that man in there? They shouldn't be in there. The only time, you ready for this? It's still not acceptable, but the only time, like, let's say this dude has like, look, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's acceptable, but I'm saying it's understandable. If a dude has like, let's say you're at like a carnivore affair and the men's bathroom is locked or something and you have like you're about to literally crap your pants and it's like a single stall and the woman, you're like, I can't hold it. You go in, you're like, fuck it. Yeah, there might still be some issues, but we get it. You can't hold it. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to crap all over the floor. You have to go into the women's bathroom and go and you apologize and it's whatever. I get that. You know, that's understandable. You're not going into the women's bathroom because you're trying to assault someone. You're not going to the women's bathroom because you're mentally deranged. You're going in there because you had no other option at the time. All right. So not acceptable, but understandable. Okay. All right. We're all humans. Shit happens sometimes. And sometimes you know, but still, like, that shouldn't be something that's okay. It sounds like Finch from American Pie. It sounds like some kind of TV show. Oh my God, I can't hold it. You know. Okay. I get it. We understand. You're like, yeah, I get it. You can't hold it, but you still shouldn't be doing it. But obviously there might be some unique situations when that would be more acceptable, I would assume. Afraid of trans women? No, there's no such thing as a trans woman. It's a man pretending to be a woman. So let's continue this.
Enter the women's restroom, you are not afraid of trans women. You are afraid of men. I will let that sink in for a second.
Yeah. Sweet. You're afraid of men. Well, you're afraid of men coming into a bathroom when you're naked. Understand that when you go to a bathroom, you're undressing. You have your pants down. Ladies don't pee standing up, so they're pulling down their pants or lifting up their skirt or whatever it is, right? You're in a vulnerable position. There's only one exit. Bathrooms have one entrance and one exit. So you're trapped in a vulnerable position. Stay strapped, ladies.
You are not afraid of trans women. You are afraid of men.
Okay, I'm not sure if this person's, she has a septum piercing, so I'm assuming it's going to go sideways. Yes, there's no such thing as trans. You're a man. You're a man that thinks they're a woman. It's not trans woman, it's a man. Agreed. What now?
If a man wanted to walk straight into a woman's restroom, there's nothing stopping them. Just
societal standards, shame, prosecution. Like if it says women, you can't go in. Legal. Breaking the law.
bathroom sign. What is that bathroom sign gonna do? Tell it no? He can just walk right on in.
Let's just continue.
But it is easier for you to blame less than 1% of the United States population than it is to ever blame a man. Reflect on that.
What?
You are not afraid of trans women. You are afraid of men.
Do we agree or disagree?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point
someone unpack that
in
for
your
me.
rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything
These people
that
are
could be considered
fucking
a rational
retarded.
thought.
They're so
Everyone
gone.
in this room
They're so gone.
is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Fam, remember, papaswolio.com, 20% off everything. We got the brand new shirt, Chicken is a Vegetable. Great merch.
Boom shakalaka!
Don't forget to wash where the sun don't shine.
Brand new merch over at papaswolio.com. 20% off the entire site. Chicken is a vegetable. That's a great mug. That's a great tank. It's a great shirt. Go and check out the new drop. Look at that broccoli bird. Accurate. Chicken is a vegetable. Go check it out, papaswolio.com. So what was that chick talking about? You're not afraid of trans women. You are afraid of men. Look, I don't care if the man's wearing a dress. I don't care if the man has a mental disorder. That's even worse because they're unstable. A man should not be in a women's locker room or private space. Women's changing room, women's locker room, women's bathroom. A man should not be in a bathroom with a woman at the same time. If it's unisex and it's single serve, unisex is not usually like, hey, lots of stalls and whatever. It's usually a one bathroom. It's one at a time. If it's either or, hey, it's a bathroom, you wait, one person goes in. There you go. So I don't know what she was saying. It was kind of accurate, right? Yeah. You're afraid of men. Well, that's a trans woman is a man. Trans woman is the woke, leftist, Marxist term for a man that has a mental disorder. I know we all agree, but that doesn't make sense. She kind of made the argument. You're afraid of men. Yeah, that's exactly the point. It's a man. It's not a trans woman. It's a man. I think she thought she was doing something, but she kind of made the point that we've been trying to make for years. Okay, last one here. Any other questions at the buzzer? You could drop them in the comments. Let's get into this last one. It's called Whoopi. Oh, Whoopi, what stupid shit are you going to say right now?
Because if they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you're supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported to some country.
Don't give them any ideas,
there.
girl.
Well,
oh, boy.
You went full retard, man.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, just deporting American citizens. No, we're talking about people that are illegally in the country. Now, let me explain what that means. You don't have the proper paperwork. You didn't come in on a visa. You just fucking entered and you stayed. You are in the country illegally. You're not allowed to be here. The same way as if someone's in my house, they break into my house. If they open the door, whether it's locked or not, they get in my house, they are not supposed to be here. They are illegally on my property. They're not allowed to be on my property. They have to get the fuck off. So what? Yeah, no one's getting deported. No one's getting deported that's an American citizen or that's on a visa, unless if you're on a visa or you're on like a temporary, this is just temporary status. You're on a visa, you're allowed to be here under the grace of this country based on certain parameters. Maybe you're on a work visa because you're doing X, Y, and Z. So, hey, come on into our country, do some great work. You're allowed to be here for 6 months or a year. I know there's different types. I'm not an expert on all of that, citizenship, the legality of that kind of stuff. But if you're protesting or breaking the law and you're on a visa, it's revoked. You're the fuck out. Just because you have a visa doesn't mean you have the right to be here too. So these are illegal criminals. Get the criminals out. Yeah, but this is a good, hardworking person. They're not a criminal. Yes, they are. If they're illegal, then they broke the law. They broke the law it's very easy. It's very understandable. If you break the law, you're a criminal. You broke the law. Don't break the law. Come back in properly. That's it. It's period, end of story.
listen, it is very clear to me that if we don't continue to say listen, I understand you want to clean out all the bad stuff. I get it. But why do you now have access to my personal information? I get what the things you're trying to do. I don't understand why you're taking my stuff.
What is she talking about? What is she talking about? Who's taking her stuff? You mean the government printing more money, stealing your personal property? Yeah, taxation is theft. I agree. Is Whoopi a Bitcoiner? Are you talking about property taxes? Are you talking about what are you talking about? Are you talking about the M2 money supply? Are you talking about the debasing of the US currency? Are you talking about housing prices being inflated by proxy of a debasing currency, artificial inflation of housing prices. Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about? Who's taking anything from Whoopi Goldberg aside from taking in these stupid ass words that are making all of us stupider?
Not my personally, but each and every one of you.
And your constitutional rights of free speech.
Who's taking that? Who's taking free speech? You mean Elon? Are you talking about Elon Musk, who's actually given people free speech? Coming from all the people that have been censoring nonstop for decades? What are we talking about here? I still don't know who's taking. What are you taking? Who's taking anything from people? No one's taking anything from you, Whoopi. You see how they fearmonger? No, all of you. Do you have illegal? Are you giving tickets only to criminal aliens? That's a problem.
Which, everybody says, you never let us say anything. We're, conservatives. And in fact, you're doing the same thing you are accusing everyone else of doing.
She hasn't said anything yet. What has she said? I'm totally fine if you have a point. I'm totally fine if you want to say things and structure sentences and paragraphs and make a point. You have not made a point yet. What are you talking about? What is she talking about? Maybe you're listening. Maybe you heard something that I missed. What is she saying?
And you're doing it in a way we've never seen before, because very few people have kept you from speaking out. But
I still have no idea what she's saying.
This is where we are now. Well, we're right here now. And you see, I beat the music. I beat the music. We'll be right back.
I already used the no points soundboard.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
I don't think she made a point. I don't know what. Maybe that clip was not enough context. But I'm sure if we had more context, we would just know that she is even stupider than what we saw in that minute and a half or whatever it was. What's crazy about what's going on now in our country is this idea that anything that Trump does is bad. Okay? I understand that the left, the Democratic establishment, it is a cult. Okay? And now, of course, they're going to continue to push like, if you're MAGA, MAGA is a cult. I know there are people that are fervently pro Donald Trump, no matter what he does. Everything he does, he's a god to some people. Everything he does is great. I don't think everything he does is great, but I think it's a net positive. I voted for him and I would vote for him again, even though I can't vote for him again. Don't worry, he's not running for a third term, but I voted for him. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm supportive of everything that he's doing. If you go down the list, maybe not every last thing, but overwhelmingly, it's the right direction. Anything that was not the same direction as what was happening the last 4 years, it takes time to undo a lot of shit. So what people don't understand is that it's very easy to destroy things. It's very easy to allow millions of criminals across the border. It's much harder to go door to door and to round people up and to actually physically deport them. It's much harder to build something. It's much harder to build thousands of miles of wall than it is just to leave it open and let people crawl in. It's much easier to destroy a house than it is to every single one of us, given enough time, give you a sledgehammer, you could knock down an entire house. Agreed? You would be able to, if you had to, here's a sledgehammer, go destroy this house. You start at the top, you break apart the roof. It would take you a long time. You break apart boards, you get tired, but you would be able to break it down, but you wouldn't be able to build one yourself. It's much harder to build a house than it is to demolish it. You get a crane or something, knock it down. It's much easier to detonate a hotel and burn it to the ground like they do in Vegas when they drop an old building and they build a new high rise. It's much easier to destroy than it is to build. And the whole destroy language, destroy math, destroy race relations of this country. It's all deconstructionist. This is what the left does. It's very sinister. They use language. They leverage anything they possibly can for power. So anything that gets them more power, they will support. Anything that Donald Trump is the opposite of Donald Trump is what they're in favor of. So now they're supporting criminals. And I really think you just have to let them talk. Let them talk, let them kick, let them scream. Anyone with a triple-digit IQ will see this and like, oh, we don't want criminals. We don't want these criminal migrant gangs to live and roam freely in our country. We don't want these criminals raping young girls and attacking and murdering them. We don't want criminals in our country, period. I think it's great, the deal that Trump made with Bukele of El Salvador. We pay El Salvador to house these criminals that we're deporting. So it'll cost the United States in prisons, it costs us hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens and hundreds per person to house them or to imprison them in the United States. And then I think it's like $20,000 or so, $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever it is a year for criminals to be in these max security prisons in El Salvador. Cool. Get them the fuck out. They don't belong here. They left. They were flooding from Venezuela, from wherever they are coming from. I don't care where they came from. They don't belong in the United States. Send them back. Send them back or put them in prison somewhere else. Get them off our territory. Get them out. And it can boost the economy of El Salvador and get these people out of our country. It's a win-win. It's an absolute win-win. So personally, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand it's anything that's anti-Trump or anything that's not the opposite, anything that's the opposite of what Trump says. So you have the Democratic establishment. You have all these leftists, all these libtards that are constantly, no matter what it is, if Trump says it, the opposite has to be true. Or we support the opposite. So you have these people that are upset that we are deporting criminals. Deporting criminals. I think we need to deport more. We need more. How many criminal illegals are in the country? How many criminals, when I say criminals, how many illegals are in the country? 20 million? Can someone look that up? We don't know, right? So illegal immigrants, aliens. Let's see. Right at the top, it just says approximately because we don't know. That's why, because they're illegal. Estimates suggest that there are approximately 11 million. Jesus Christ. 11 million undocumented immigrants. Ah, yes, undocumented. Fucking illegal. Undocumented. Undocumented. I can't even get on a fucking airplane without my ID. Undocumented. No. Criminals. I don't have the paperwork. Yeah, because you fucking broke in. It's so sick. Although some studies indicate the number could be as high as 22 million. The problem is no one fucking knows. So if they say 11 million, it's probably 20 or 30. It's probably 20 or 30. So let's say 20 or 30. Let's say 20, split the uprights. If they say 10, upwards of 22. Some people say 30. No, it can't be 30. All right. 20 million. Fine. Let's say 20 million. Okay. 20 million. We can all agree on that number. Let's just say, right? Calculator. 20 million. Okay. How many people? How many people? Do we know how many have been deported? Let's see. 20 million. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 20 million divided by, let's say 10,000 a month. 20 million divided by 10,000 is 2,000. That's 2,000 months. Okay? I'm doing some math here. I'm cooking. Let me cook. That's 166 years. You could check my math. I'm pretty sure it's correct because I just did it on the fly. So if you have 20 million criminals and you deport 10,000 a month, it's going to take you 166 years. People don't realize how big the number is, okay? Let's say there's 10 million. Let's say it wasn't 20. I guess cut that in half. What was that, 80 years? 80 fucking years to get rid of. If you're doing 10,000 a month, we have to deport much faster. We can't be doing 10,000 a month. That's not going to do it. They're kicking and screaming, and we're like, we need to do a lot. It needs to be all hands on deck, get as many out as possible. So let's do that math again. 20 million. Let's say we're doing 100,000 a month. That's a lot. Every month. That's 200 months. Okay, divided by 12. That's 16 years. If there's 20 million criminal aliens in this country, if there's 20 million and we deport 100,000 a month, that's a lot. On average, 100,000 a month. That's a lot of fucking people. That's a lot of buses, a lot of planes. That's a lot of physical presence of enforcement to get rid of 100,000 a month. 16 years. If we deport, let's say it's not 20 million, say it's 10. So cut that in half, right? 8 years. It'll take 8 years if you're deporting 100,000 a month. So in other words, we need more. It needs to be a lot more. I don't know how many have been Look, and let's talk straight up legit. It seems like Trump has been in office a lot longer. You guys realize that it hasn't even been 2 months yet. We're coming up on 2 months in 2 days? January 20th or 21st? I feel like Trump has been in office for 5 years. There's so much that's happened. So the good news is there's more time. We still have to elect J.D. Vance or we have to keep voting Republican. We can't let the Democrats and the Democratic establishment back in. So that's important. The midterms are very important. It's very important that the Republicans at this point, and I'm not a Republican, but the Republican Party is where America First is. That's where the home is of people that are trying to right this ship. Much better than the other options, right? So he hasn't even been in office. And I'm talking about now. Dewey says he's almost been in office for 5 years, just took a big gap in the middle. True. So this administration, the current administration, it's been not even 2 months. So there's time. But my point is, when you have this is his second term, so he can't run for a third term. It needs to be America First, whoever comes next. And they need to have the hammer, like the fist of God, the same way that Trump does. They have to have that mandate the same way as this time. Same thing with the midterms, because you need the House, you need the Senate. So there needs to be positive momentum going into the midterms in 2026. It's very important. But the fact that he hasn't even been in office 2 months is amazing, because a lot of good stuff has happened, but it just needs to be ramped up. How many people have been deported? When I say every month, that was my point. It's like every month we have to step it up. It hasn't even been 2 months, but how many? And I know Tom Holman and Kristi Noem, and they're out there. So how many people have been deported? How many illegals have been deported in 2025? Let's see if we have some numbers. How many immigrants have been Newsweek? I don't trust that. ICE enforcement and removal operations statistics. Actually, let's bring this up on the screen so you guys can see it too. So I'm just like, let's see if we can bring this up and see if anything is Oh God, I have to read charts. Jesus Christ. I'm tired already. Date selector. I'm probably not going to look at this properly. Well, it says, all right, so here's in the corner. It says arrests. Hold on a second. Let me just bring this over. On the left, see on the top left, I'm just scrolling this over. It says arrests 500,853. I just don't know based on this what exactly that means. Does that mean overall this year? Because there's no date selector. Let me see. Year. So I can't select anything? Month? Quarter? Year? Arrest fiscal year? Oh, there isn't anything for 2025 yet. Maybe it hasn't updated. Let me see for 2024. Does it change? So 2024, it says 113,000. All right, so we don't have like detention. All right, so this is just All right, so there's a lot of stuff here, but there's nothing for 2025 yet that I see. There's probably somewhere else that I have to look. Anyway, whatever. But in other words, if we just do those numbers, let's say there was 10 million or 20 million. Bro, just 100,000 a month, it'll take 8 or 10 years. And at 20 million, it takes 16 years. So in other words, we need some good protocols. We need this direction to be going. We need another 8 years after Trump, at least. And someone else said in the chat, I don't think this 4 years, I don't think this is the pendulum that people think it's going to be. It was Trump, and then it swung back to Biden, and then it swung back to... This was not a swing back to Trump. Who's going to vote for trans stuff again? People know what they're voting for. People know that if they vote blue, they're going to vote for AOC. They're going to vote for open borders. They're going to vote for more criminal murders. They're going to vote for higher taxes. They're going to be voting for Green New Scam. They're going to be voting for all this climate change fear nonsense. People know that's why they voted for Trump. The fact is, people didn't need the mainstream media. They were calling him racist and Hitler and all this shit for 4 years. And he won overwhelmingly because people aren't paying attention to the mainstream garbage anymore. It's not even it's not mainstream. That's why it's legacy media. That's why we call it legacy media. So I don't think this pendulum swings back. Who the hell is going to want to go back? Everyone remembers. Everyone remembers COVID. Everyone remembers the scam. Everyone remembers the fraudulent election. Everyone remembers 2020. We were there. We were there. And the fact that they haven't backtracked at all. You would think the Democrats would learn something. Well, I mean, they're retarded. But you would think they would try to, hey, let's undo all the shit that we did to destroy our party so we can undo and maybe win in 2028. But not a chance. They're just doubling down and getting worse. John says, everything Papa is saying is why I've registered to vote. I had no interest prior. One term will barely scratch the surface. If we're lucky, momentum, fam. That's what I'm saying. People have to understand that this is a long-term play. It's been so porous. The border has been so porous and so fucking wide open for decades. It's been a problem for decades. This is going to take decades to undo. That's my point. Do you think we can get 100,000 a month? I mean, that'd be a huge month. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to scale to that because there needs to be public support at that level. It's hard. You have to educate people. They have to know what we're getting up into. People have short-term visions. People have short-term perspectives. This is not, hey, it's going to be done in 2 years. Well, Trump didn't even fix all that. It's going to take years. Years. It's very important to understand how long this is going to take and to what scale it has to be done at if it's going to be done with any kind of efficiency. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more that has to happen. Okay, let's do a throwback. Let's do two. Let's do two throwbacks and then... But this is why I think, education is important. You have to educate people. People have to know what we're up against and at what time scale. People don't really like to think long-term. They don't. And you can think long-term, unfortunately. This is what happens when you have money that's worthless. People aren't able to think long-term. This is why Bitcoin solves a lot of these problems, is because you actually get to save in a finite monetary supply that is decentralized, distributed, and can't be corrupted. So you can actually have a low time preference. You can look to the future. If you know your dollar is going to be worth 20% less in 2 years, there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of impulse buying. There's a lot of, it changes your entire perspective as a human to immediate and instant gratification. And you make terrible decisions and you indulge in a lot of things that are, most things that are valuable in this life are not instant gratification. Okay, let's check out this video.
About
fat representation in the media is that it has a right to be there.
It has a right to be there. What does that mean?
So we can see more fat
Nothing.
bodies just simply existing in the world as we do in everyone's lives every day.
So you really want me to be fat?
Yeah, that's a problem. Seeing fat people exist in everyone's lives every day. It's because this country is just dying.
This country's falling apart.
We just see fat people everywhere. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Not a flex.
I think that what is most important is showing the joy and the everydayness of being a fat person.
There's nothing good about it.
Well, I think there's a difference between centering fat people and centering fatness, right?
Just shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna stop you right there. You know, you're trying to create this fat centric, but let's also highlight all their other attributes. Like what? Like this is the most counterintuitive thing. You're literally talking about focusing on fatness and fat people just existing. What does that even mean? Troy Buff says, I made the mistake of listening to you out loud and my wife who hates Trump got mad. Your ex-wife, you mean? Oh, she doesn't like me. Why does she hate Trump? She was told to hate Trump? Is he a meanie head? Why doesn't she like Trump? She was told not to like him? Time to step up. Time to get your wife's head screwed on straight. Axe Shredder says blockchain seems transparent. And this is the big, and this again, not financial advice, just education, study Bitcoin. You know, ever since Bitcoin was created, every other shit coin and other garbage nonsense Ponzi scheme has come out as a result trying to improve upon it. But people don't understand that there's many more things that are fantastic about Bitcoin aside from the hard cap of 21 million Bitcoin, aside from the decentralization. It's the network effects. It's the trust in the system. It's the ubiquity. It's the amount of nodes that people are running. And there are a lot of first mover advantages. So people are going to try to improve, hey, this is better than Bitcoin for X, Y, and Z. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't have the narrative. They do not have the inception. They don't have the lore. They don't have the mythology. There's a lot of things that are very important for humans. They do not have the network effects that Bitcoin has, and they never will. And the great thing about it is that it is transparent. It can be audited by anyone. Every single person right now, you can go online and you can look at the blockchain. You could view every transaction. You could look at, there's so many different metrics and on-chain analytics. You can see how many coins are moving. You can see from which wallets they're moving from, how long those coins have been in those wallets. You can see when old coins come back on for sale. You can see when, large whales are moving large amounts. You can see everything. It's completely transparent, audible by anyone on the planet. Everyone can go and look and look at transactions, which is important. You need that for trust, but you don't have trust. Even with Bitcoin, you can't trust other humans. This was the Byzantine generals problem that Bitcoin solved, is that you don't have to trust. That's why the whole phrase, don't trust, verify. You don't have to trust anyone. You can verify it, and all the nodes sync transactions and verify transactions, so there's no duplicates, et cetera, et cetera. And then everyone is running the same code and the same blockchain, all the nodes that confirm transactions, et cetera, et cetera. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And the more you learn about money and the more you learn about how corrupt our system is, the more you want to get the fuck out of it. And Bitcoin is the way to opt out of a corrupt system and leave the system. You can't look at Bitcoin and understand it if you're looking at it from within the concepts of a corrupt system. You have to step aside and look at it from first principles. And that's why it's hard for people to grasp the importance of Bitcoin, because they're looking at it from within a paradigm that's broken. You have to step outside, erase it psychologically, and build it from the ground up and realize, oh, not just that these things can exist simultaneously, but that Bitcoin is going to continue to eat the legacy financial system that's just inferior in every way. So anyway, not financial advice, but education. There's a great new book, if you haven't read it. It's called, it's by Lawrence Lepard, The Big Print, if you want to learn about the history of our corrupt monetary system. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. The founding fathers knew about fiat currency. The founding fathers knew about centralization of currency and finances and the evils of printing money by fiat, which is by decree. So this is nothing new. When you learn history, you just realize it's just repeating itself. And fortunately now we don't just have a yellow rock like gold and silver. Ooh, Very exciting. We have something far superior to all of it. One more throwback.
Did you know there's actually nothing wrong with being fat? Bruh. Just because a person is fat does not mean they are lazy, unhealthy.
How dumb are you? Is there anything in there?
Maybe some people in larger bodies do experience these things, but thin people do to the same extent.
Not true. Of course, she's got consonants after her name. RD. Paid 50 or 100 G's for some letters. Nice. Could have just Googled some facts. You didn't have to spend all that money and time to be wrong.
A person in a fat body might have a complicated relationship with food and their body, but this is also just as common in thin people because we live in a culture obsessed with thinness.
You know, can you imagine if these people just said, like, you know, I'm not going to blame everyone else. It's the culture. It's this. And everyone's thinking, go eat some steak, go eat some beef, go to the fucking gym. Like, just do the things.
Just do it!
That meme's great. All right. So, that's all I got for you today. That's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Swole and Juicy. Let's give away today's Swole card. Thanks for being here, Beaches. Appreciate you. Go get some sun on your nips. Don't be a vegan. All right, the winner of today's Swole card. Is it true? Are you swole and juicy? Candyman 156. Congratulations. Candyman is juicy today. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Candyman. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card. 3238 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email. Nice. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations, Candyman. Send us that email. Congratulations. We got one question at the buzzer. We'll take it. We'll take it from John, because it's John. John always asks it. He always brings up good topics. Papa Swole, is there any way to improve fiat as easy as it was to fuck it up, taking it off the gold standard? Can we return value to the dollar with an alternate material? So what you mean is anchoring it to gold again? So to improve fiat, no, because fiat by its fundamental, it will always be corruptible. That's the problem with fiat. So fiat means by decree. So in other words, I decree this is the monetary, this dollar, this paper is to be used. The problem is that humans are at control of that, and it's centralized. So they're able to hit Control P and create money out of thin air. And you have a lot of other byproducts of that because institutions and, wealthy, billionaires are able to borrow money practically for free. They're able to borrow money at rates that you and I will never see. So they can borrow rates at, a couple percent, or for a while when it was 0% ZERP, it was like 0.25. So practically these institutions were borrowing money for free, and all you got to do is take that money that was practically free, throw it in any kind of equity, or it's the easiest thing. You're going to make some sort of money and get some sort of inflationary, kickback. You're able to make that money back guaranteed, essentially. So we're not able to borrow that. You go and use your credit card and you borrow money. You're paying back 20, 30%. You go to the bank and you're like, hey, I want to buy a car. What are you getting for your loan? 9%, 7%, 6%, 12%, depending on your credit score and all this shit, based on how much debt you already have. So you're just essentially a slave. And this money, in other words, the price of money, your cost when you're borrowing money, the interest rate is how much the money costs you. That's what interest is. And when they charge you exorbitant fees, you are losing money. If you're not, and look, the problem is, it's a lot of other problems, because if you're buying a depreciating asset like a car, it's the worst thing, because you're paying ridiculous interest rates and you're paying much more than the vehicle's worth. As you're paying more in the future, your vehicle is becoming more and more worthless. That's why buying a car and buying a used car, with cash is the best choice, because financing a vehicle is usually a fucking disaster. There might be some tax benefits, so I'm not saying there aren't beneficial uses for it as write-offs from a business standpoint. But anchoring the dollar to the gold standard again would be an improvement. But at this point, it's not going to, you're not going to be able to back it with enough gold. Like I don't think there even is enough gold in the world to, to undo to improve the debt. It's like 30 or fucking, what is it? $30 trillion? Something insane. The monthly interest rate, right? The interest expense on the debt is like $100 billion a month. So we can't even pay off the interest. So it's spiraling out of control. And this is why Bitcoin is essentially a life raft. There's something, and it's just complicated. There's something called bit bonds that some people are promoting. I'm not sure exactly the structure of it, but essentially it's like government-backed bonds that have some percentage or some investment or some percentage of the bond that's in Bitcoin, which appreciates over time. So there's some people that are proponents of something like some kind of government Bitcoin leveraged bond that can be beneficial for whatever reason. So you can look into that. Again, I didn't explain it properly, but there's something out there that I've seen. But the thing when it comes to Bitcoin is that it's non-inflatable, and there's no other asset on the planet that is non-inflatable. People act like land. People act like one of the other problems is that our entire system is built on assets like housing. Because money was so cheap, you've been taught that real estate is where you should store all your wealth, which is why real estate has been inflated to the moon and people can't buy houses anymore. And the problem is housing and land, it might seem finite. Sure, the land is finite, but those who that live in, in more rural areas, that there's plenty of land. You could build millions and millions and millions of fucking houses and still have millions of acres available. So there is no shortage of land to build houses on. So it's artificial scarcity. It's artificial scarcity. Same thing with gold. So the gold supply is a tangible asset, but they're always discovering gold mines. They're discovering new deposits of gold. You can mine gold. China just found millions of dollars in a gold mine, or you could find a gold mine in Africa. There's gold in Alaska and all these different places, but it's just a yellow rock. So you're pegging essentially this paper money to a yellow rock that it actually is inflatable, because you could just mine more. There's asteroids that have trillions and quadrillions of dollars. Eventually, when we can mine asteroids, like the gold price, things are inflatable. So it's a controlled supply. When the gold price goes up, gold miners start mining more gold, and then it's just artificial. And Bitcoin is just purely supply and demand. It's limited with how much can be mined every year. Every 4 years, the mining reward decreases in half. So there's a supply shock, which is called the halvening, every 4 years. Or the halving, halving, not halvening. But it's a pure system. It's a pure system that's starting to break from the essentially Ponzi scheme. Real estate's a Ponzi scheme. Fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme. And throughout history, fiat currencies have been implemented all over. It was a major part of the decline of the Roman Empire because they stopped using silver for currency. They started using other metals and removing silver from currency. And then you're able just to print a bunch of coins from whatever metal. And then what happens is when you inflate the supply of currency, you decrease the amount of products are available because people buy them all up. So then you have supply shocks, and then the price of the price of goods goes up dramatically because there's more currency in the system. So there's less supply of goods, and it's artificial. And this is why, and then you have riots, and then food goes through the roof. And why did Trump get elected? Gas prices and egg prices were up, and everything is more expensive. So people get pissed off, and they have a quote revolution, changing of the guard. So it behooves a government to get control of the system, but it's gone far out of control. And the problem with like the last 20, 30 years is that the government, people that are in charge, people at the Fed and these like large institutions, have created a system where there's no downside. So if you watch movies like Margin Call and The Big Short, the great financial crisis in 2008 as a huge example of it. These banks are bailed out. They're paid huge bonuses. They're paid billions of dollars because we can't have a market correction. We can't have a major crash. Like all these things, it should have been a big wipeout. It should have been a huge, massive problem and like got wiped out, zeroed out. And then there would have been a lot of short-term pain, but it would have rebuilt with a stronger foundation. But every time someone's in charge, and a lot of these people are appointed, not elected, what they're trying to do is not have any negative press, essentially. So they're always trying to cover up and never have the market go down. The market just goes up and up and up and up. It's just inflating a balloon bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it pops and like, hey, no, let's go to this balloon instead. And they just print more money, especially during COVID. You're sending out thousands of dollars to each person, which comes out to trillions of dollars. You're just adding more money to the system and you're not adding more value. You're not adding more creation, quite the opposite. And people are having less kids. You know, there's a lot of people that are out of work because AI is getting more popular. People have to make cutbacks. It's just, you can't have anything go bad. So no one wants to be the person that is the bearer of bad news. So you perpetually just have this cover up over and over again. And it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. And if you invest in Bitcoin, which is a finite asset, and you can tolerate the volatility because it's still in price discovery, it's a savings account. So not financial advice. Learn about Bitcoin. Check out that new book, The Big Print. It's a great book. There's many other, The Bitcoin Standard is a great book by Safety and Amuse. There's a lot of great books out there. We have a bunch of them in the Amazon store. And when you learn about what hard money is and sound money is, and the problems that it solves, and you realize the cyclical nature of humanity, and humans are fallible. If you are in charge of the money printer, the temptation is too great. There's always going to be people that print money and that leverage it for their friends and insiders, and it just gets out of control. And it's gotten way out of control to the point where it can't get back into control. So the basis of the book, The Big Print, is that there has to be a big print. There has to be another big print. So it continues to spiral and spiral and spiral. In other words, you're not undoing this damage. You're not undoing the damage caused by fiat money printing. Maybe it can be staved off and kicking the can down the road a little bit. And I'm not saying that the US dollar is going to disappear, but when you look at the price of Bitcoin, like right now, oh my God, it was at 108. Now it's crashed to 81. Oh my God. What this means is, I mean, if you don't remember, 3 years ago it was at 15. So what you're looking at is not Bitcoin getting more valuable. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has always been the same value. One Bitcoin or 100 million Satoshis has always been 100 million Satoshis. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. Tomorrow, the next day, forever. One Bitcoin is always equal one Bitcoin. What you're looking at is the devaluing of the US currency. So if you go back, let's say 10 years, 2016, Bitcoin's like $1,000, let's just say. If you wanted to buy a house and it was $500,000, you need 500 Bitcoin, right? Yeah, Jason Williams, Hard Money You Can't Fuck With. That's a good book too. In 2016, if Bitcoin's $1,000 or worth $1,000 in exchange, it takes 500 Bitcoin to buy a house. Today, let's just round that 81. To buy the same house, it's like 6 Bitcoin or 7 Bitcoin or 6.5. So in 10 years, the housing market has crashed relative to Bitcoin. So 10 years ago, it would have taken 500 Bitcoin to buy a house. The same house today will cost you 6.5 Bitcoin. So divide that out. That's how much the dollar and the housing market has crashed relative to Bitcoin. So when you're looking at a chart, you see Bitcoin, going up over time. Invert that chart. That's how much the dollar has decreased in value. So you've lost 20, 30, 40 times of purchasing power in just a decade by holding US dollars. So if you had $100,000 of cash 10 years ago, wow, I have $100,000 cash in my account. You have that today, you've lost a tremendous amount of money. If you bought $100,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2016, well, then you'd have 100 Bitcoin, and now you'd have, 100 times 8, what is that, $8 million or whatever it is, versus $100,000. So it's the dollar collapsing. Once you understand and you reframe how the world works based on the hardest asset, it's digital property, the hardest asset ever created. There's nothing else on the planet that's infinitely scarce. You can mine more gold. You can find more oil. You can create more energy from the sun. There's a lot of ways in technology that energy can be deflationary, and you can lower the price of energy. You could build more houses. Now there's an X amount of land, but we know this. There are islands. There's places in Florida where there's skyscrapers, literally apartment complexes. It's like Key Biscayne area or Brickell Key or whatever. It's artificial. There's no land there. It's an artificial like foundation that's built in the ocean where you have people living. You could build islands. We have the technology to build oil rigs in the middle of the fucking ocean that drill. You can build housing anywhere on the planet. Think of how big the planet is. Go on an airplane. You guys go on an airplane, you fly over the middle of the United States. It's just fucking open land for hours. Just millions and millions and millions of acres of land. People could live there. We have the internet. We have irrigation. Built a fucking city in Vegas in the middle of the desert. There's nothing of value out there. Now there is. So humans can create many places to live. There's no scarcity when it comes to land. There's no risk of overpopulation. We have so much fucking open space on this earth. That's just a big grift. We don't have enough people. That's the problem. We don't have enough people that are producing value. So anyway, if you have an absolute scarce supply, Bitcoin is the only thing with code that cannot be changed. It's a hard cap. What else on this planet is absolutely infinitely scarce aside from your life? You only have one life. And your health, that's infinitely scarce. What else? Nothing. Everything else can be created in greater quantity. You can mine more gold. You can mine more silver. You can print more dollars. You cannot make more Bitcoin. There's a limit to how quickly Bitcoin can be produced and mined, and it's all offset based on energy costs and availability. It's a brilliant creation, and that's why all these other alternative coins, altcoins, aka shit coins, keep on trying to compete and acting like they're better than Bitcoin. Maybe there are certain structures or things like, oh, that's cool, or we could do this, or there's more privacy here with Monero or X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying they're all going to disappear. Most of them do because they're just centralized Ponzi schemes that are built on proof of stake, not proof of work, and not built on actually human physical energy demands. So there's nothing that's involved in creating them. You need something that takes human energy to invest, to create, to make it valuable, and to make it scarce. There's a lot of benefits. So anyway, once you learn and unplug, then you just see all the cracks in the foundation everywhere, to the point where it just blows your mind that everyone is just living in this fucking circle jerk of make-believe. It's just mind-blowing. So once you have your mind blown, you keep on learning and educate yourself, and you learn what it is, you start buying a little bit. And as you learn more, you buy more. And you start understanding that it's the greatest savings technology ever created. And just understand it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go left, it's going to go right. But over time, your stored human energy will only go up. It's math. It will only go up. It's only going to keep on going up. The supply will continue to dwindle. The demand will continue to rise as more and more people adopt a better system. And then everything else is always just going to be based off Bitcoin relative to Bitcoin. Everything is decreasing in value and getting debased relative to Bitcoin, which cannot be. And when you understand those fundamental facts, then you can take different and next steps. So anyway, check all that out. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Nice little Bitcoin rant. Always enjoy it. 3238 in the books. Tomorrow, 3239. And we'll see you then. Peace, McGee. Deuce, Magoose. Your boy, Papa Swole. Oh, 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 oh.
crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing, like an IPO trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans, I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now the king left and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
that's a bed that you made, that's a bed that you made, that's a bed that you made, that's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, chill. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies, you children pop.